What is going on, guys? It's Adam aka Marf. Today's show is going to be loaded with insane stories. On top of that, of course, we have our thumbnail. That's one thing. That is the least crazy story on here. Let me just tell you. Stick around. We'll be right back right after this with the only live call-in show somewhere. What is going on? My name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Welcome, welcome. I'm sure that a lot of people are getting in here. Just a note, of course, YouTube is doing some weird stuff. You've probably seen, if you watch live shows, they are changing the system over, so we have to do events. Just to let you know, until we adjust to that, it might be 15 minutes late or so, sometimes 20 minutes, because we have to set that time, and this show is very complicated to put together. So again, before we could actually just send notifications right when we went live. Now we actually have to set a time in concrete. So it's better for you guys. Of course, we're going to be adjusting to that. Again, this is a complicated show that's run from 2 states in the country. So it's not exactly something that we can just throw together. In fact, any show takes anywhere from 8 to 12 hours. Just to let you also know, this is a live call-in show. So anything can happen. We've had the craziest calls, or we've had, calls that we probably shouldn't have had. Again, you should check this out as well. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that out of the way, if you are missing notifications for the live show and you're like, what is the schedule? Where is it? What do I do? Make sure to sign up for our own push notifications. Now, if YouTube or DLive have some sort of update going, or they have some sort of vendetta against truth or whatever it may be, you can actually sign up for our notifications at marfooglenews.com. Just look for that red bell. And then again, we have big creators doing articles that we are going to be sending out through our alert system. But the main purpose of that is if we absolutely know something is going to go down, if some sort of emergency or something that we get solid information, we would send it out through that system. So you definitely want to get on that. One of the goals here is to prepare for any kind of natural disaster. The military does, the government does. Why do we not as a civilian? But on top of that, it's to put all the puzzle pieces together. Again, you can actually follow along all of the articles here tonight, every single tweet, every single video. Everything we're going to show you here today is going to be reachable on a second device, or if you want to go back and read this on your laptop or your tablet, you can do so on our website, marfooglenews.com. Now, if I refresh this, you'll see today's thumbnail. It's all organized by thumbnail. You'll say, locked up. Alexa won't let me out. Shocking new Alexa features. This one is right here. Once you click on that, you'll see every single source, a bibliography of sorts here, so you can actually check our info. Again, if I ever make a mistake, you can feel free to call me out on it, and I will correct it the next day. In fact, it has been over 2 years since I said that the United States used the first nuke in 5 decades or something. That ended up being wrong. I did a video that corrected it. Why I know that is last night I actually went through all of my old videos because I found some very alarming stuff about September of 2018 and October of 2018. I don't know if you guys remember the presidential alert that went out. I actually had a 1 million view video that went viral, basically telling people to turn their phone off for that. Again, that was an alert that only some people got, but what the goal of it was that every single phone, whether it be a Walmart burner phone or a T-Mobile or a Metro phone, that it would do this alert and you would press OK and clear it. It was kind of like an Amber Alert, only it was to every single phone. Well, get this. Only about a third of the people actually got the alert, and it was pretty weird. It was like a husband would get it, but his wife wouldn't, and they're on the same phone system. So it was almost like it was random who got it and who didn't. And once you got it, there was no way to clear it without pressing OK, and it would go away. If you remember that, then you kind of understand what I was tweeting about last night. That was October 3rd that they did that. That presidential alert actually has a history of being a doomsday alert. That is actually the same system they would use, say, just hypothetically, if a asteroid was coming towards Earth and they just found out and we have 5 days to live, they would use that system. So what is crazy is that is now new and now it's texted to everybody. Well, the plans in the background that they have for that system and why they even need to test it is pretty scary by itself, because they would actually select people based on skill sets, right? This is an actual thing. Well, the movie Greenland, which most of you have not seen because, one, it was supposed to come out in July, then pushed to August, then pushed to September 25th, which is tomorrow. And then just a couple days ago, they said, oh, yeah, it's actually delayed indefinitely. So basically not coming out, right? I don't know if that's changed since now. As of a few days ago, they said, we're just not going to put it out. They did put it out in Belgium. That movie uses the presidential alert as something that basically goes to selected people in the event that this asteroid's coming towards Earth, and the main character, which is Gerard Butler, he actually gets selected because he's into construction. He's a constructional engineer, and we'll need that after 75% of the planet gets wiped off, just like the dinosaurs. And basically, without spoiling anything, I mean, really, the preview shows a lot, basically the whole plot. They need to get to Greenland, to the bunkers that they have for military. What's even crazier is that this is a real document plan somewhere. In fact, they have contingency plans for every single Armageddon scenario you can think of, including aliens. I don't know if you know this, but even regular police have a part in their handbook that has a section for if in case we are invaded by extraterrestrials. Isn't that nuts? Well, not really. Because it is a possibility. Scientifically, they've said it's a possibility that we could have extraterrestrial life. So that therefore means it's a possibility. That therefore means that it is something that they have to prepare for if they're going to be responsible. And by being responsible, if we put them in charge, then they have to do all of this stuff to keep us safe. Well, what I found is right before that October alert on October 3rd, in 2018, was the Sunspot observatory shutdown, where for 11 days they evacuated the area of the Sunspot observatory. Again, that was an observatory at that. The entire area, houses around it, were evacuated. And what they ended up saying, after bringing in Apache or commando helicopters and all this stuff, they said that it was at the center of a kid ring, something like that, right? That there was stuff on the hard drive. So they cleared out all these houses, went door to door, making sure, hey, did you talk to that guy at that observatory? Did you talk to that guy at the observatory? They did all that. And then they said, oh, yeah, there was stuff on his hard drive. It worked. Most people said, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, bring in helicopters and stuff for an observatory. Mind you, 10 or 12 days after, they shut that down for an entire 11 days, cleared out everybody that ever talked to that person. Then they do that doomsday alert. In that same section of time, there was a lot of stuff going on. And I mean a lot. And I tweeted an entire thread. If you want to check that out, go over to at Marfoogle, and you'll see. I actually went back to see what I was covering then. And one thing you will notice as well is that I have not changed my opinion on China and Russia. I haven't flip-flopped on my view of things. And you'll see that that's basically going there. Sammy Lee says, Mitch, love, Marv. I installed my EMP shield yesterday in my car, so I excited made a video on how. That is awesome. And helping other people. Guy C, Chazer152, Jonah Sark, thank you. And then it looks like I do get my notifications today. It's like on or off. Z-Dub, the Oumuamua-like rock you posted, boom, in sky, EMP planted. What if it fell in the ocean or dew used from it? What country made a moon? RFID in masks. Can it be man-made ship? Sitting there, I was Alan's Z-Dub. So, by the way, right around that same time, right before that, we had all of the drills around the country of the Blackhawks picking up people off of the roofs in cities. If you remember that, it was in Pittsburgh and all over the place. So we'll talk about all of that today, and we will try to get as much news out as possible. But first, let's introduce Dex. Dex, sorry about the long monologue but man, the stuff that I looked back at, so many crazy things. More stuff crazy happened in 2018 than even 2020, but nobody even noticed. Dex, are you there?
Hey, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
So I don't know if you actually looked at that thread. I know that you ended up putting some of that on there, but you were with me for a lot of that. I went through the videos and kind of looked at where you joined me, and right before that, I was doing a lot of like little edited videos with kind of what was going on. There was some crazy stuff right before you joined me. And can you say that, some of this stuff might actually have something to do with what is going on today with the formation of Space Force? That was another one. Right after that, they officially put it into play. All this kind of stuff happened. What would you say about that? Do you think I'm crazy?
Well, yeah, I mean, no, I don't think you're crazy at all. I think, connecting these dots is what we're trying to do, and look at all the different potential dependencies and connections that actually happen to these different events and how they correlate to one another, and kind of tell us what's going on and what they're actually doing.
Well, again, there was, I'll go through it later, and I mean, it could be a whole show going through the old stuff that we were looking at, that we were getting sent then. It makes a whole lot of sense, a lot more stuff. Oh, and by the way, within just a few weeks of that event, that alert, everything else, they also did the simulation of New York getting hit with an asteroid. So something in my head, I try not to say, oh, it's confirmation bias, because it's going about what I already think, right? But when you take hundreds of things lining up, then it starts being less about confirmation bias and going, okay, I was on the right track, and here's 50 things that prove that. I think that there is something there that they know. I mean, everything, that's when the shift happened. I actually watched in the news headlines I was covering 2 years ago, that's when the shift came, where everybody was like, we're going to the moon, we're going to this, we're going to that, we have to get this, we have to get that. Everything changed. And I was covering news just like we do today, and you can look back at it and go, wow, that's where it happened. So anyways, okay, let's get into it. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Sarah Bonnell, Sassy Lass, Gigi Loves Jesus. We've got Taylor Matthews, Shastina, Bumpity, Lisa R. Hall. Hey, love you. Favorite Foogle fam member, along with Trinity, J Stone. I believe we have WG. I haven't said your name a million times. WV. We've got Bill Warman, April Saffel. We've got Archives the Turth. Beautiful, beautiful Archives of Turth. Thank you for being here. Louise Price, Occam's Razor, and Terry Prada. Thank you guys for all making it tonight. So this is, again, part of this whole thing. Russia's season of war games unites West-weary allies. It says Russia is staging a series of military exercises with China and other allies amid growing alarm over fresh tensions with the West. The largest of these games, wait, is that really Caucasus? Caucasus? Is it Caucasus, like Caucasians or something? Caucasus 2020 kicked off in southern Russia this week and include land and naval exercises involving about 80,000 people, including more than 12,000 troops. What I think about when I see that, though, is 12,000 troops and 80,000 people. That means it has something to do with most likely EMS or emergency workers and regular civilians. How that many people are in this, and only 12,000 of them are troops. I'm guessing there's government employees in there, or city, basically contingency employees, people that would run the place after something goes down, I'm guessing. It says China and Myanmar are all taking part, along with the several ex-Soviet countries, including Belarus. It says, quote, these exercises are the main annual test of the Russian armed forces' readiness to engage in a large-scale conflict. Vasily Kashin, a Moscow-based military analyst, told AFP. It says the drills that last until Saturday and feature naval deployments on the Black Sea and Caspian have been organized, quote, for the top echelons of the military leadership. So I don't know how much clearer you can really put it. They're drilling for a large-scale conflict. I mean, that's as plain as day. And why do you think they do that? Because it's not like it's a possibility that we could go to conflict with Russia and China, right? It's not like everything has been slowly lined up, set up over years and years and years. People say, well, when is it going to happen? These things take time to kick off. And I bet you, because we did have the advantage, they sit there and it's like when you, it's like two drunk guys in a fight and they're both sizing each other up. And they're both like, and then they sit there and bump chests for 20 minutes. And then by the time, they get kicked out, you're just like, okay, just punch each other or something. That's how it's been with these guys. Because everything that's been happening has been set up. All of these things. This is complicated. It's not just like, oh, we'll put our guys and make them go head to head with their guys. They plan this out strategically. They plan out the entire United States. If they were to invade, right? They have a plan for that. If they were invaded, they have a plan for that. If Russia was invaded, they have a plan for that. If they were nuked, they have a plan for that. If they were hit with artillery, they have a plan for that. They have a plan for absolutely everything. And there are people that their entire jobs, they go to work and eat, sleep, and breathe Armageddon plans. Just like how I've spoke about the author. I always forget his dang name. Dex, do you remember the guy's name who wrote the book? He was our guy. And he would sit there and he wrote a book about how he would go into work and him and a bunch of normal other dressed people would sit there and basically plan how to take out and murder every person in China and Russia. Can you think of his name? It says
no, I don't know it.
The book is How to Be a Nuclear War Planner or something like that. Oh, his name always gets it off. Anyways, I'll pull up his book when we have a second. I'll pull up his book, and it's very interesting. He was also a whistleblower during Vietnam. The guy, knew his stuff. But the main point was that he said it was a daily thing. It was just their normal day-to-day thing. It was like going in like, hey, Chuck, hey, Bill, hey, how can we take out every single person in China and Russia, including children? Well, let's write it out. That's their plans. That's their jobs.
Is it Daniel Ellsberg?
Yes, that is exactly right.
The Doomsday Machine, Confessions of a Nuclear War Planner.
Thank you. Incredibly interesting book. I don't know why I forgot that. I read it 2 years ago when I was covering it, and man, oh man, there's a lot of stuff in there. And you start to understand that this is a daily thing for the government, and they're doing it all the time. So anyways, we'll get back into this. It says, according to the Defense Ministry, up to 250 tanks and around 450 infantry combat vehicles or armored personnel carriers are taking part in the drills, along with the artillery systems and rocket launchers. Now, when this happens, they are on high alert because any one of these drills could be the setup for an actual event. I don't know if you guys realize, but most of you know, if they were to do something, they would either have it be a drill, everything's in place, and then kick it off, or it's a drill. Both sides do this. The U.S. does it all the time. And if they ever did need to make a first strike or get the surprise, they would do it just out of nowhere. Usually they wouldn't do it like this, to where the United States and all of our allies are watching them like a hawk, seeing what they're doing. But again, when they gather these troops, that is a sign that, obviously, one, they're preparing for it, and two, there is a slight, tiny possibility that they could turn it into a real event. And they just say, they're covering it up on their end, saying, oh, it's just a drill, but really, they're putting things in place. So they are also testing flamethrowers as part of this. It says, the Russian forces will test the TOS-2 heavy flamethrower systems, first paraded through Moscow's Red Square during Victory Day celebrations in June. It says President Vladimir has made reviving the army one of his top priorities of his 20-year rule. So, again, after years of them neglecting their forces, kind of like our previous president, the armed forces received new aircraft, tanks, and missiles, opened new bases in the Arctic, which has got a lot of people saying, they've got these secret bases in the Arctic, and resumed Cold War-style strategic bomber patrols, which we hear about on a weekly basis here. Of course, we've covered it. I don't pay much attention to it because it is now normal. Okay. And then going back into it, China is building a vast new detention center in Xinjiang. Again, these are filtered subjects here, and you probably can take a guess at who is behind it. Who doesn't want it talked about? It says a huge brutalist entrance gate topped with the red national flag stands behind. Jeez. Let's try that again. A huge brutalist entrance gate topped with the red national flag stands before archetypal Chinese government buildings. There is no sign identifying the complex, only an inscription bearing an exhortation from Communist Party founding Mother Mao Zedong. See, some writers actually try to use so many words when they are writing articles. I read a lot of these, thousands and thousands, and I see these writers like this, of course, is coming from this, right? And they use these just gigantic words that they could totally get the point across in a smaller amount of time. Anyways, stay true to our founding mission and aspirations is what Mao Zedong inscribed there. It says, but the 45-foot high walls and guard towers indicate that this massive compound next to a vocational training school and logistics center south of Kashgar is not just another bureaucratic outpost in Western China, where authorities have waged sweeping campaigns of repression against the mostly Uyghur minority. It says it is a new detention camp spanning some 60 acres. Now, this is basically telling us that they have these new detention camps for these people. One thing I think of, and I try to always look at it from both sides, one thing I think of when I see an article like this is this making me angry towards this country? Is this propaganda? Are they putting this out because they want us to go, I just hate those people. I hate them. They're so nasty. They're so disgusting. I do think that, but I also am smart enough to realize that maybe I think that because I have had things drilled into my brain. And honestly, I have admitted many times I do not claim to know everything. But I do think that we all, including myself, need to open our minds to the fact that we have mind-altering propaganda all around us that changes our wavelengths of how we would normally think. And in the same sense, we need to try not to get defensive, not to get offensive, and yell at people, oh, this and that. We need to look at it and try to take both sides. And that seems like it's common sense, but it's not anymore. Nobody is objective about these things. So I'm not trying to be, what do you call it? Where you're empathetic towards China or anything. I don't like them. But I also realize that I've read a lot of really bad things about China, and that is permanently stuck in my brain. I want to make sure that I'm always paying attention to what I'm reading and what and how it is affecting my mindset on that subject. And this makes me angry. This makes me so angry that, it would make me want to go out and physically do protesting and things like this, like, stand for these people. Any kind of people. No human being should be put in a detention camp, because once one gets put in, then it opens the gates to a whole lot more. You're talking about, oh, it's this, now it's Christians, now it's that. And then you have anybody who they do not agree with or do not like in detention camps. So whether you agree with their religion or not, if it is a religion, they shouldn't be putting them in camps. That's just my thought of it. Because just like censorship, you take one voice, then they all start to crumble. If you stand together, you have a much better chance. But they slowly will just start taking them out. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that was also going on in WW2 and WW1. Do you guys agree? I'd love to hear your opinions on this. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this. But again, it is prison-like. This building is basically set up to re-educate. And by re-educate, they mean you either pretend you're not this and you publicly pretend you're not this, or you are sitting in this re-education camp until you do. So, pretty crazy stuff. And you would have a much higher chance of getting put on their organ donor list while you're still healthy. Blasting the air in front of hypersonic vehicles with lasers could unlock unprecedented speeds. It says, for decades, the DoD, the Department of Defense, has been researching a radical drag reduction technique that involves sheathing a vehicle in directed... Look at this. What did I say last week after this? Right? All of a sudden, a lot of stuff is going to be coming out. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here. It was pretty much common sense. Once the DoD came out about DEWs, that we would hear other news regarding this that we normally wouldn't. All of a sudden, now we're hearing about DE-induced plasma vehicles. Am I right? All of a sudden now, this keyword right here, which I guarantee you they don't like, they didn't like. This was a filtered word up until 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I'm not trying to test it. You couldn't put it in titles. It got, they would put up that Star Spangled, you know what I'm saying? And they'd say, oh, we got to censor that. This keyword right here was a no-no. Nobody, some people thought it was just straight up a conspiracy. It didn't exist. Most people knew that they used this for lasers and things like that, and they did use that phrase for a lot of things. We're talking about UFO technology here, possibly, by sheathing it with directed this. I mean, look at that. What does that look like? They're talking about coating it with a direct system. It says, over the last decade, two of the most significant topics in defense and research and development have been directed systems and hypersonic weapons. The Department of Defense and its major contractors have been pushing the boundaries of what is possible with these technologies, and those efforts could someday soon literally change the face of warfare forever. As I said, the next conflict will be bonkers. This stuff is insane. I mean, look at this. It says, as it turns out, these two cutting-edge areas of defense research are beginning to converge in laboratories with the goal of enabling unprecedented levels of speed for aerial weapons. It says, by combining advanced directed technology with the latest in hypersonic vehicle design, researchers in private and DoD-funded laboratories have laid the groundwork for systems designed to literally sheath an entire vehicle in laser and microwave-induced plasma to drastically reduce drag. That's not like painting something on. It's something that, it's like a force field. We're talking about Star Wars type stuff. This is insanity. And it's all coming out publicly now. I knew that we were about to just blast open the floodgates. Because guess what? We're going to see the results of some of the new weapons being used against us. That's what I think. Now we're a lot of things are going to be opening up. I mean, just a few years ago, hypersonic didn't exist as far as missiles. Putin said he had it, and everybody's like, pop, 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 doesn't exist. Apparently it does, or at least they say it does. Insane tech has gone beyond. Well, people have always said that the military has had this stuff for 30, 40 years, right? Now maybe we're seeing what we had in the 80s. Maybe this stuff has already been out. We don't know. But what we are seeing is definitely being put in front of our eyes, and this is nuts. This is the kind of... this is pretty crazy. In space, they have all of this stuff going on. And not to mention, we have so many threats against us right now from up above, or at least that's what the government is preparing for, and they're not telling you about it. See, one thing is they don't tell you about some of this stuff, and that's the stuff that I pay attention to. It's the stuff that they're not putting on CNN and MSNBC and all these networks. They're not warning you about EMPs. They're not warning you about DEWs. They're just finally now talking about it. But this is what they do. This is the classified stuff that you don't get to see for confidential eyes only. So with all of this stuff going on, they are preparing back and forth, and we don't actually know. We very well could be so financially tied that they can't announce that we're actually at conflict already. And things are going back and forth, and a lot of this stuff is blameless, right? What if an asteroid hits a city? Are you going to blame Russia? No, of course not. But when you find out that the University of Glasgow and all of this technology that they are now finding where they can actually bring in an asteroid and control where it hits, well, if you found that out, then if an asteroid hit, every time an asteroid hit, you would have to investigate and go, well, was this a natural asteroid appearance, or was this brought in by a tractor beam, or whatever they have? Was there any rockets on it, or solar wings on it? This is the future. That's what's going to have to happen. If a meteor hits in the future, Russia's going to go, well, did U.S. do this to us? Did they guide it here? Did they have one of their hammer smack into it and guide it right into our city? So we're going to see a lot of this happening, and cyberly, that's where most of it's going to happen. One thing that we have been recommending, and again, I've been recommending this for over 2 years before I ever even knew what an EMP shield was. You guys should be looking into this. If every American person, if they gave this, I wish that this was something that was mandatory, that T-Man would sign a bill and just give everybody this, then I don't think we would have much of a huge problem. But instead, on a scale from 1 to 10, we're barely at a 1 in preparedness for this. And that is why T-Man actually just signed a bill to harden our grid. If you want to help out the show and protect yourself against an electromagnetic pulse or even a solar flare, you should check out EMP Shield. Again, these guys are actually outfitting, they're outfitting a lot of different parties. They've worked with DOD, DHS, and now they're officially on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. Not only that, last year we actually didn't know if they were going to still continue to sell to consumers because of their gigantic contracts with the government and other agencies. So they are still, for now, still selling them to civilians. What it does is it grounds the signal before it can fry your device. And not only that, you're not just talking your home. You're talking about your car, your solar system, your CB radio, your generator. The more people that get this, the better off. I have no qualms in this being one of our affiliates. I was just talking to, I want to say Jacob Israel the other day. And I said, this is the one thing that I actually think may save lives, and I have no problem being an affiliate. If it helps the show, you get a discount. I think everybody wins in that situation. If you want to help us, marfuglenews.com/EMP. I don't think there is a regret situation in this. All right, and then let's get our first caller on, and then we're going to talk about the IRGC taunting the U.S. with this spy drone close-up of Nimitz carrier in the Strait of Hormuz, which is, of course, one of the most rumored places for WW3 to go off. All right, Dex, let's let in our first caller, and if we can, it looks like it's going to be ngolden0003, and talking about an iPhone notification. Let's do it. Calling from Kentucky, ngolden003, you are live.
Hello, Marv.
Hello. How do you say your name? Do you say Ngolden, or when I see your name I think of Goldeneye.
I changed my screen name to Sea Star Goddess.
Okay, perfect. All right.
But yes, it's
much easier.
Golden. That was my old name.
Okay, well, now I know both of your names. I thought those were two different people. Well, Sea Star Goddess, how are you doing tonight?
It was me the whole time, every night.
All right, we still had you as N Golden, so that's great. Sea Star Goddess, what are you bringing up here, and what link am I opening here? I have a link. Is this a video, a picture?
They're screenshots.
Okay, let me pull it up. Now, can you explain what we are looking at here?
Okay, so the other day, my phone was acting kind of weird. See, because I don't have automatic updates on my iPhone. So it said that I had it said a regular like update. So nothing out of the ordinary. I clicked it, and when I clicked it, it had this big paragraph, excuse me, talking about CV and basically tracing. It was like this big paragraph, and it said that this is not an app. It made that clear. You cannot delete this. This will be part of your phone now. It's like in your settings, da-da-da. I immediately turned my phone off and was like, I do not want this on my phone. So I shut my phone off, and it did not, it still downloaded it to my phone. My phone came back on, and I went to my settings under general, and sure enough, there it was. It had a little red circle, and it said notification exposure. And then after that, you click it, and it basically, it says you can turn it off, but you read it, and it says basically like if you're in a store somewhere, and let's say someone tests positive for CV, well, now it's in your phone, and it says that it doesn't report unless you allow it to, but I don't believe that.
Okay, so you
tell me what you think.
Okay, so you are discovering what a lot of people discovered in the update. In fact, I believe Dex mentioned it on the show as well, because I didn't have iPhone, and the night that it happened, then all of a sudden, it was like I was contacting all of my family, friends. My aunt was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that." It updated, and once after that update, it had this. So anybody with a current iPhone that has not updated,
do not update.
Well, by the way, it's a force update. Otherwise, your phone doesn't do certain features. So it has to happen. They have this, and I've been talking about this for over 2 years as far as the E911 chip, which basically, you're talking about a chip in your phone in all the new phones that say if you're the positive, the cover-up reason is, say you're hiking and you fall down a well and you can't do anything, or your phone dies. They can actually physically turn your phone on to try to find you. As far as with this, they are talking about tracing and tracking you. That's why we started working with EDEC. That's why I showed that the bags.
Right.
That's why people are putting them in these bags, because they don't want to be tracked or traced. And this is literally on every phone now, including Samsung. There's no way around it, really. You can turn it off. It's off by default. That was one good thing, right? Everybody was like, well, it's not on by default.
But it's disturbing that it says you cannot delete it. Like it said it, like before I shut my phone off to try to prevent it, it said like this is now a part of your phone.
Well, guess what would happen?
Deleted.
Guess what would happen? This is called a geofence warrant. So that's why you can't delete it. So later on, say somebody also can get, say they get taken out by a pew-pew at the gas station. They're just sitting there pumping their gas, and somebody drives by and goes bang, 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 bang. Well, say you were at that gas station 5 minutes before it happened. You left, you got your gas. Well, 6 months later, you could be in discovery in a court case, be pulled in as a suspect because you were there. And again, that information can't be deleted. So when your phone is on, it is now, this new world, I believe they are tracking every single movement you are doing. But look up geofence warrants, and it's absolutely scary. That's why I suggest that if you don't want to, be tracked everywhere you go, put your stuff in that. Again, I don't think it's right. Of course not. This is a police state that we live in now.
Yeah, I watched the show about the geofence warrants, so yeah, I know all about it.
It's scary. That also can be used because of that CV thing. I think the overall goal is eventually to have every single person trackable, have them digitally, banked. As far as if you watch, what was it? High Impact Flicks did a video on it. They are moving laws towards every single person, the Banks for All Act. That's all coming. Only about, I think it was like 25% of people are not banked at all. They don't have a bank account. They have no funds on. And I think like 50 or 40% or something don't do it enough. So you're talking about billions of people, actually. 2 billion people on Earth are not banked. That means they're not on record. Their money, everything that they do is not on record. So absolutely great point to bring up, and I'm glad you called in about it because this is scary. What do I think about it? I don't like it, and that's why I put my stuff in a edict bag. But do you have anything else to say about this subject?
Yeah, I don't like it either. Yeah, I did have one other thing to say. You have inspired me. I actually started a channel myself. I have 400 videos I already recorded of things in the sky that I've seen. All different types of things.
What's your channel called?
Sky. It's Goddess Libra. And then it's a picture, the avatar is like a picture. It's me, a blonde-haired girl. Goddess Libra.
Okay, boom. Well, we are going to be love mobbing you. If you guys want to check out Goddess Libra's
I would
channel,
really appreciate it.
All right. Well, the link will be on the website. Well, thank you so much for calling in tonight, and be safe, be prepared.
Thank you, Marv. I've been trying to call in. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Well, as you can see, okay, so if she's being serious, 400 videos, that's more effort than some of the people we've given 1,000 subscribers to. So if this person is putting that much effort in it, I hope that a lot of people will end up helping. Try, if you can. One thing that we realized why we are probably not growing as fast as we should be is because some of our stats are affected by everybody leaving. I never would have thought about it, but for 3 years, we've been sending people away probably 4 or 5 times a show, which doesn't really help as far as keeping them on YouTube, which is why they do not recommend us as much. So if you can, wait until the end of the show, go to our website, and then check out all these people. All right, let's, but again, with this, just go over and say hi. She is somebody who deserves it. Obviously, with 400 videos, that's a lot of work. All right, let's get back into the news. This is obviously something very serious. It says that the IRGC taunted the U.S. with a spy drone close-ups of the Nimitz carrier in the Strait of Hormuz. If you don't know what the Strait of Hormuz is or have never seen the clip where the guy says, yeah, I saw the plans to take out 7 countries in 7 years, and there was something, and then they talk about having maybe have a ship that's painted like the and have them blow us up, and then, boom, we can take them out. I actually think I sounded like him. It says the Rai Yan Indian state media on Wednesday published a photo set showing the U.S. carrier group led by the USS Nimitz transiting the Strait of Hormuz, which Tehran says has gained after domestic-built spy drones intercepted the carrier. So they're taunting it with these drones. Not only that, this same place actually did a mock attack with a mock carrier. You're talking about a giant carrier that they did this with, or a fake one, right? It says in remarks on Wednesday, IRGC Navy Commander Rear Admiral Ali Reza Tansgiri said that the homegrown drone was detected the U.S. carrier strike group before the flotilla cruised through the Strait of Hormuz and into the waters of the Persian Gulf. So they actually detected this thing coming, and it went right up to it. It says the Nimitz, along with the battleship escorts, sailed through the area last Friday, according to separate reports. It says that Tansgiri made the remarks upon an occasion of a military ceremony marking the IRGC's naval force receiving nearly 200 domestic-produced drones and helicopters. So if the drone could get this close, one thing that I'm going to say that is going to be coming out very soon is a lot more news about these drone attack weapons being put onto the ships. So a lot of them already have them. They're lasers that would hit a drone like this, burn it, and melt it right out of the sky. They are going to bring out more DEW weapons that have the capabilities for drones. Think about this. If this could get this close, or say if this is zoomed in and this is 2, 5, 10, 50 miles away, doesn't matter. If it can get drones in there, they could actually bring explosives and take these things out. I mean, even if they got a small explosive and dropped it onto this thing, that would be bad. So one thing, though, is that they said that they actually did detect it. But did they really? We don't know that. They could fly 2,000 feet up in the air or 10,000 feet up in the air with a tiny, tiny little thing with a very powerful explosive, drop it. That's what they're watching out for now, because drone technology has moved forward so much. Dex, do you have anything to say about this this story as far as the U.S. sailing for the Strait of Hormuz?
Hey, Adam. Yeah, you know, I definitely think that the drone conversation is going to continue to amplify. You're spot on when you talk about that.
All right. Well, again, you know, we're going to be following this. I think that we're going to see a lot more on drones. And of course, everybody knows that. I'm talking about drone attacks and the actual results. In the next few months, I think that they are going to push their boundaries.
Did you mention the cartels?
Oh, no.
You remember that?
As far as
they were using the drones to do attacks with.
Yes, and we actually covered during the beginning of CV. Do you remember the whole Navy went down to handle cartels and all this stuff? There's all sorts of things that are being connected to what is going on there. They might be using cartels. In fact, our enemies, Russia, China, NK, they actually might be paying cartels to do things, or we could be paying them to do things, vice versa, as far as to the highest bidder. There's some crazy stuff that's been going on in other countries that's not being filtered, not being coming through. It's being filtered out by the U.S. media. There's a media blackout on some of the really extreme violence going on in Mexico, and some of it is actually related to us, not to Mexico. In fact, tied to politicians. We have, people think that the mob or the mafia is still gone. No. There is still organized crime. There is still these cartels. Some of them probably work for senators or, both sides. We're talking about some crazy stuff that you would never think would actually be true is happening. I do want to point.
Adam, I don't know if you saw, we have 2 ninjets that have flown in.
Oh, you guys don't do that, please. Okay, let me go through here and see. We do appreciate it. I just want to make sure that you guys can. Much love, Foogle fam. Foogle fam strong, no matter what. Thanks, Adam Dex mods. Also, new fissure opened up, Mexico, 2 kilometers long. Smart Kid 14, thank you so much. But make sure to, that's something that you could have used on your channel again too. Upgrading your stuff. I just want to make sure that you, if you do something like that, just know we do appreciate it, and thank you for helping this channel. But I do also want to see you grow, and I also want to see you improve your channel and improve everything that you do as well. So I appreciate that so much, Smart Kid 14, and thank you. And thanks everybody for taking the high road. Everybody's having fun and being a group and trying to move forward. So I really appreciate you guys. Dixie Doe, I did not see the second one. Who was was that? Don't tell me that was both Smart Kid.
No. The other one is MRSA 1, and it says much love to the fam.
MRSA 1, thank you so much. As you guys know, Ninjet is actually the highest form of donation over on DLive. So thank you so much for your donation. I believe that's 10,000 lemons, which is a huge amount of lemons. Thank you so much. You guys can't say enough thank yous for that. Again, that is amazing. MRSA 1, you are always awesome. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us. Again, we are trying to build something, and it's been rough. So thank you. Proud Grandma, Dixie Doe, Lady Mel, Stone Magic, all of you guys, thank you for the lemons. I appreciate you guys doing single lemons too. You have to realize when you guys are all doing that, that really does add up. So thank you so much. And then Teresa TLC, and then his queen says, love you on early. Stay safe in this crazy world. And then Goddess Libra says, thank you all. Channel Goddess Libra. Of course, no problem. And then Survival Living says, watched Greenland last night after your show. Dude, it's very concerning. We have been hit before. It will happen again. Much love, Adam. Keep it up. Survival Living, I watched it last night all the way through as well. And man, oh man, the presidential alert, that's what really tripped me out, because going deeper down that road, it makes you think that they know something and they are trying to fix it right now. Christian Moore says, hey fam, hello from Bob Dog Joe, George, and at I are cabin prepared to fight the fire. Prayers to all. God's plan. We must do our part to all. Christian Moore, I'm so sorry to hear that you are dealing with the fires, but we have your back and we're all praying for you. Sent pics of asteroids to email and a link to my tweet, says Ari55. Ari55, I did get the thing you did of the video. That was really cool, but I will make sure to check. And then we have, of course, Janetta Tahahu, says, hi, Adam, Dex, and Marfoogle fam. So glad to be watching live. No D-Live replay tonight. Which reminds me, I apologize. Somehow, I'm not kidding, my studio is all closed up. Last night, the only person or the only thing that was in my studio was my new kitten. So somehow my kitten started a stream, and it only went on to D-Live, because Restream was turned off for YouTube. It went for 9 hours, and it started at 3 a.m. So if it wasn't my cat, that would be a ghostly matter. It was pretty scary. But for 9 hours, it was just sitting on D-Live. What is even crazier is people said that we were in the number 1 or 2 spot of D-Live for 9 hours, and we weren't on. Which is kind of crazy, Dex. We were in the top 1 or 2 spots, and we weren't even live.
That just goes to show you how much Foogle fam likes to come hang out and chat.
What's crazy is, we can host at any time. It will be 4 o'clock in the afternoon, no show, and there will be 200 people in our D-Live chat. So that is the Foogle fam. Again, if you guys don't know, if you want to go to a chat that's 24/7, D-Live is that. You can go into my channel and chat all the time. Chance Paladin is usually there modding, most of the day, hanging out and really socializing with the Foogle fam. So make sure to check it out. Here's something that a lot of people were responding to on my Twitter, and I'll actually go to my Twitter so you can see. This is a big deal because people didn't believe it. In fact, I'll show you the video right here. It should be right under here. Let's see here. Okay, we'll just go to mine and pull this up. There's a video of somebody taking a phone to a regular mask. I'm trying to see if I had one close by, but a regular kind of paper mask with blue on one side and the little thing. They took a phone to it, and 1 out of the 10 had a something in it. He goes like this. The phone picks it up. And it dings, and then it gives it a location. So it actually pulled up a notification. It had NFC or RFID. So when he put his iPhone up to it, it dinged and it went. Then he rips open the mask, and there's an RFID chip in one of the masks. People thought it was fake. They said, yeah, right. I bet that if I open the mask that I have right now, it won't have one of those in it. Not all of them do. And a lot of them would have one in the package. And this is real. It's not in all masks, of course. And again, there's kind of a conspiracy around this. So I'll just tell you kind of what the facts are about what they're talking about it. But we're talking about in these cheap 10-cent masks or whatever, a cheap 10-cent RFID. So let me pull this up real quick. It says, France responds to fears over microchipped face masks. And then I'm actually going to pull it up on Twitter as well. I got it. This is crazy stuff. Because there's multiple countries talking about this and how it's not. Okay, so this is, I'll just show you, so it's not, we're not trying to show the whole thing, but this is on Twitter. This is what the big deal is, right? And it is picking up something. So people thought, oh, this is BS, right? Oh, it just how happens. He goes through 10 masks and one just happens to have it.
Σου δείχνει το location σου που είσαι. Από τη μάσκα. Ναι, την μπάκα του. Όποια θες.
People go, oh, he picks right through to the one with it in it. Obviously,
το iPhone. Και σκανάρουμε όλη τη μάσκα. Τι εννοείς? Τι είναι αυτό? Τι κάνεις? Να το. Πλάκα κάνεις? Να το.
Boom, RFID. Now, this opens a whole new set of doors, right? Now people, obviously this person is now putting this out. This is actually not the original, huh? See, look at this. This person, you guys are all so gullible. And they don't know. Do some research. Sorry. I just hate when people just say that, just say, nope, it's not real without at least checking, right? Just look up RFID in masks and you will find that there's a lot of stuff about it. In fact, it says Jerome Solomon encountered a question from a journalist at a news site, France Intour, who asked, quote, do you think it's reasonable that some manufacturers sell masks with RFID chips embedded? Many manufacturers make these. There are even videos circulating showing people taking their masks apart. What is the point of these chips? Mr. Solomon says, quote, I can tell you that fabric masks in France are excellent. I wear one every day, and they are better for our environment. You can wash them and reuse them. They are made in France and do not have a chip inside. I can guarantee it. And it says, yet some masks do indeed have chips inside, but these are not intended for any kind of identification, tracking, or tracing purposes. Instead, they enable the manufacturer to count how many times the mask has been washed and reused, so it can alert the user when the maximum recommended limit has been reached. It says these are mainly used in professional settings. Masks sold to the general public are unlikely to contain the chip. It says RFID chips, full name, radio frequency identification microchips, use electromagnetic fields to automatically identify and track tags attached to objects. So one thing to keep in mind, right? One thing I thought first was, well, would this be cost efficient? See, there's two different kinds of RFID chips. There's RFID chips that are passive. So that means the RFID chips mostly, in items that you would walk out the door and it would beep or something like that. And then there's active. Active are actually sending a signal. So instead of having to go up to that chip and read it, it is actually sending a signal somewhere. Not only that, they have GPS. Passive are about 10 cents a piece to make. Active are about $20. So you wouldn't put $20 of an RFID chip into a, $7 package of 10 crappy paper masks. But you could put easily 10 cents worth of passive RFID in it. Well, one thing that is really crazy with the new technology that is so much more powerful, not 4G, but the next one, the entire planet, if it has this millimeter stuff, will actually have enough power to power a passive RFID and make it send a signal back. Is that crazy? So you're talking about once we have it set up with all these towers everywhere, you will actually be able to track things, anything, any object for about 10 cents actively. So besides this whole thing, which is true, there are 1 in 10 masks of probably 1 in 100 manufacturers that do put these chips in. They say it's to alert us. Well, why does no one know that you, 1, can wash these disposable masks, and 2, why is there nothing on the package about it being in there? And yes, they are in there. So, to go back to this, let me go back to this. Let me go back to mine, right? Home. Let's go. Boom, boom. Okay, just click my dang name. Okay. You're just being a little punk. Okay, so check this out. Again, that's at Marfoogle if you want to follow me on Twitter. Hey, look, there's me. Hi. See how delayed it is. Wait. I'm going to wave to myself. Hold on. Oh, it's really behind. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to see myself wave. But anyways. Then go down to here. Let's go down to this thread. This is actually a threat. It says tracking tool. What is the RFID chip in some masks for? And check this out. It says the RFID chip found in many reusable masks whose function could not be explained by the Director General of Health is not a means of tracking. It is used to count the number of washes before throwing the mask away. Well, if nobody knows there's a chip that tracks how many times you washed it, then what the hell is the point of it? It tells the manufacturer this. How is it telling? Is it an active chip? Are they putting a $20 active chip in it? Doesn't make too much sense, does it? So something weird is going on, but they also wouldn't just... Why would they throw that technology in a disposable mask that they don't know who's wearing it? It is strange to say the least. Veteran Steve says, I don't buy that excuse at all. Yeah, not a lot of people are. So whatever you want to say, whatever reasons for this, let me know. Again, that was actually James Woods put that out. But then I ended up doing this whole thing. And again, this is actually RE55 was the one who looked at this photo. Check this out, what he did from last night. He first took the video from last night. So you'll see this picture, right? Just show you real quick here. So that was the picture from last night. And then he did some contrasting. And look at what it kind of popped up here. And somebody said, "Oh, I hate to tell you, but that's just a cloud." Unfortunately, if you watch the actual video and not just this picture, the clouds were all moving. This wasn't. Fascinating stuff. It looks like, the wings of a big beetle or something. Very creepy. Or wood, right? It looks like wood with green. But you have to keep in mind that this is high contrast. But it definitely does not look like a cloud. That's for sure. It definitely sticks out. Mind you, that was the point of that experiment. But yeah. So anyways, there are tons of articles about this. There are chips in there. So just keep that in mind. If you do not want to be tracked or traced, this is exactly what we were talking about with the first caller as well. We're going to get our second caller on here. Again, this is some crazy, weird stuff that we're dealing with nowadays. But you can actually put your phone in an EDEC bag. It will help the channel, and it will help you not be tracked and traced. This is one of the best companies out there as far as these bags are so incredibly nice. They are so professionally made. This is the same bags that they sell for evidence bags to the FBI. These guys are working with multiple agencies selling these as evidence retainers because nobody can remote wipe the evidence. Nothing can happen. Once you put your cell phone or your device in here, it's off grid. So keep it in mind. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/edec. As well, they actually have a utility bag that has a window. So you can access your phone and see your pictures or do something like that, even when you're doing it. Mind you, there's not much you can do without internet, but some people like having the ability to actually see their phones and interact with them. So again, that's called the utility bag. This one is called the off-grid. Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to get into our next call.
Hey, Adam.
Go. What's up?
Hey, did you see the other jet that flew in?
I am going to be looking. Let's see here. By the way, Raholio says, UDEX mods and the fam are awesome. Thank you. Says, love this channel. Thank you so much. Conniption Fit. Who let the Ninja Genie out of the bottle? Vroom, vroom, hit and run. Love to you all. Thank you so much, Smart Kid. Thank you for the Ninja Genie as well. Just because. Smile more. And Tower Bear. Thank you. Tower Bear says, Air-to-air combat. Everyone stay positive. I know it's hard these days, but we have to stay positive. Much love, fam. Get prepped and watch your six. I don't think we've ever had 3 ninjets in one show or even 1 month. So thank you so much, Tower Bear. Like I said, I'm making this graphic things to where we can put you guys on it. We will not forget that, Tower Bear. We're going to put you guys in a separate group. If you've ever done a ninjet, that's actually extremely rare on DLive. So tonight is a very special night. Thank you so much. Kelly2334, not to take away thank you for all of your support and all of you guys. Thank you. Again, that's huge. Tower Bear, thank you. Again, if you can't do it though, don't. Before we get, again, we're going to have our next caller, and then we're going to talk about Ring's latest security camera is a drone that flies around inside your house. No joke. I'll let you look at this while we bring in the next caller. No thanks. No thank you.
Hello?
You are live. What is going on? So let me pull up your card here. It says, okay, we've got Pagan 11 on the phone. Fires in Cali. And then what is this link that we're about to look up?
I'll have to see which one you're pulling up because I sent a couple of them in, hon.
Okay, 1 second. Let's see here. All right. It looks
one
like
is of a Pyrocumulus cloud.
Okay, 1 sec. There is a 220-acre vegetation fire in the X-ray impact area. Whoa there, don't get hit by a train. Forward rate of spread has stopped, and the CPFD is on scene working containment efforts. It possesses no threat to anything, but smoke will be seen for the remainder of the day. So what's going on with this? This is at Camp Pendleton.
Oh, yeah, that one, that's at a military base here in Cali. That was, that is one that I sent to Dex a couple of days ago that fires happened in the X-ray impact area of the base, and that's a military base. That's where all the Marines go to do their basic training at. And there just happened to be a fire that day.
So,
and I just think it fit in and tied in with everything that we had been talking about.
Huh? Look at that. So, what do they mean by X-ray impact area? Okay, so it's like X Zulu whiskey. Okay, so it's QWZXE. Okay, so it's an area. It's how they organize their place. So basically, they could have been testing a weapon.
But Yes, and the area that caught fire was the X-ray department, like where they test and they have their X-ray stuff. That's the area that caught on fire.
Okay, the only thing I'm thinking of though is how they labeled all of their stuff is that it might just be X-ray, as in like military language. I'll look into it. We'll definitely. We'll be looking at this because it has Quebec, Whiskey, Zulu, and X-ray. Those are how you say the letter CYD.
Yes.
All that. So I'll look into it. And then we have another link here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, what is this second part here? So this is another tweet. It says explosive pyrocumulus development on the Creek Fire and Complex Fire.
Yes. Those are the two volcanoes that are here close to me. The one at the top is the Mammoth Lake area. The one to the south is the one that is in my county. That is the Camp Nelson area, the Complex Fire, the SQF fire. And that is a pyrocumulus development.
Now, can you explain for the people that don't know what pyrocumulus are? I know it's a kind of cloud, but I actually don't know myself. Can you tell us what pyro pyrocumulus means. It means fire cloud. Is that how you break it down?
Yeah, a pyrocumulus cloud is a cloud that it only happens one of two ways. The first way is what it is it's a huge mass flash of fire, and the only two ways that these clouds happen is one through a volcano venting, or two through like the utensil that Dutch caught on video. Those cause these things as well.
All right.
Like an intense, very fast, very quick fire.
So like a directed type of energy. That's what you're getting at.
Yes.
Okay. Well, and it doesn't it look okay. So if you look at this video over on, it almost looks like if you took a magnifying glass to an ant, right? And, I'm not saying I do that, but I did when I was a kid, or even a piece of paper.
Yeah, we did.
Well, do you remember taking it to a piece of paper and it would burn a hole and you would see the smoke come out of nowhere? Doesn't that kind of look like what we're looking at here?
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like to me. It's a very directed, very fast, very, very hot fire that, like I said, it only happens one or two ways. It's either through, the volcano, the volcanic, the gassing and releasing of the pressure there at the volcano, or, a very fast, very rapid, hot burning fire. These aren't like, say, somebody just went and lit a match and caught something on fire. These things don't happen from that.
Well, it's definitely all of these satellite images with the fires and the clouds that come up from are pretty crazy. And I'm sure if we look at something like that website that Dutch uses, those beams, I bet you it'll probably line up. So if you guys, as a Foogle fan, want to go out and investigate on this, feel free to do so and then call in. Is there anything else, Pagan 11, before you go?
Yeah, I just want.
You cut out there.
Snaps is healing up really well.
Sorry, you cut out there for a second. The phone cut out.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out the family and the crew. Glad that we're all working together, and I'm glad Snaps' head is healing up great, and it seems like we're all on a great track, and much love to everybody.
All right, that is great. And honestly, no matter what is going on, we can all be positive, and we can all, we all need to think about others and everything that everybody is going through. We're all basically kicking the cat when we're angry, right? So let's all be positive and let's all move forward. I love you, Pagan 11. I love everybody here. And like I said, from looking down, everybody, it's really hard for me to explain how easy it is for us to kind of lose track of what we're doing. You and a lot of other people are trying to be laser focused and focus on positive. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep going, and let's all move forward together as a group. And I mean that, like as a YouTube group, since we have almost 1,000 creators, we need to seriously start doing some big things. So thank you for calling in tonight, Pagan 11. Have a good night.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Love you guys too.
All right. Have a good one. All right. And then let's see here. Dex. Let's just get Rip Curl on before we hit the news here. Because I think Rip Curl would be somebody who's a good one to pull in. Rip Curl actually dealt with the fires here.
Hey, Adam, I'm trying to get him on right now. Hang on.
By the way, Archives of Truth, thank you, says much love all. And then Lola Cafe. Archives of Truth, by the way, it's nice to have you in here no matter when it is, or on D-Live, whichever one you choose to be on. Thank you, Archives. And then we have Lola Cafe. You can always write something as well. But I do like the super stickers. The only thing with the super stickers, though, is sometimes I don't see what the cute little, GIF is. With that, though, thank you so much. And then Teresa Wrench, love to all, stay safe. Teresa, you've been here now, I want to say at least a couple of years. Thank you so much for staying with me. Adam Martin, remember yesterday's first caller about a small moon-like object in the northwest sky? Could it be China's fake moon? Keep it up and God bless you and Dex. Hey, Adam Martin, that's actually pretty, nobody even said or talked about that. Around the October 3rd weird alert, Sunspot getting shut down, drills around cities all over across the country, picking people up off of roofs. Around that same time is when the whole thing with China saying that they were creating a false moon and a fake sun. Why would you need both of those things? Is it going to get dark? Just saying. They said it's going to light the night sky up brighter than our real moon. In fact, they said it was going to be brighter than streetlights would be. In fact, it would save them money. They wouldn't need streetlights because they would have this fake moon that lights up whole cities. Creepy, creepy, creepy. All right, Rip Girl, are you live? Rippy, rippy. There we go.
Hey, Rip Girl, you did it, and then you undid it. So do it again, buddy.
He could survive an apocalypse, but computers, I don't know.
Adam? Hey, Rip Girl, you're live now.
You are live.
Adam?
Yes, what's going on?
All right. Hey, you're right. If it's apocalypse and it's AI, I'm done for. That's it.
What is going on?
I'll be pushing star 6 forever, and the robots just won't drop. Hey, it stopped taking homes for right now, so you're right. I have been started up doing videos and whatnot and showing that, and that's heartbreaking. In fact, last night your reactions to it are absolutely how I took it as well. But for right now, the reason I called is something that I think is very, very urgent. It was brought to my attention the other day. I don't have FB, that platform myself, but my better half does. And she was looking over this thing and she was crying, and I couldn't understand what on earth it was from. And so I asked her, I said, "What are you looking at?" And she asked me, and it was this group on there called Mama Bear's Watch, and you have to be invited to it to be on it. But what it was people explaining, and a group of mostly women explaining and talking about their experiences with human traveling, let's call it, of men or of women and children. And so much so that it's organized. I started reading these articles and so forth that were on there, as well as the stories from the people. And I was shocked to find out that we are number one on the West Coast, shortly followed by California and Washington, because of the access to I-5, and how easy you can get on there. But they're following people in stores in groups of 4 to 6, and so much so they have groups that wander in the store. They're communicating with each other. They're taking pictures of these mainly single moms or moms by themselves with their children, and they're actually going out, even following them as far out as their car. They are tagging their cars. This is the part that really bothered me. The lady in the one story explained that she went out to her car, and on the back of her car, so she must have been followed from when she got there, there was a 1W, 1K. And what that stood for was one woman, one kid. And she couldn't think about at first what it was for, but when she got into, when she put it together with the people that had followed, and they have been reporting these to the managers and so forth in these stores, And some of them have been detained, but it's a really hard thing to prove unless you catch them in the act. But these groups are being investigated right now. It is something that is being aware of, or that the law enforcement community is aware of. And so this group is formed up to help them track the suspicious activity and take the pictures of these people and hopefully follow them out to their cars. And I wanted people to be aware, because what they're doing is they're marking your vehicle, and then there is a follow person in the parking lot that will follow you home, and then they're compiling lists of these people. The other reason they mark the vehicle is in case you happen to run across one of their group out and about at a good opportune time. Say you're at the park, your kid's playing, you're not quite paying attention. All he has to do is go through the parking lot, and he can see if it's in, sometimes they do it in black marker, sometimes it's just in the dust in the car. But if he sees 1W3K, he's like, wow, I can probably grab me one of those, if not all of them. And I was flabbergasted. The stories went on and on about people. One lady even had to charge, they were out camping, and they had to charge the person that was in the woods that tried to snag the last kid in line behind her. And I tell you what, one thing that makes me upset is things that deal with kids and harm to kids. And I think everybody, especially these days, we should all be on the high awareness. But right now, think about it. We're all wearing masks. We all look like banditos. There's no way you can prove who's who. I think it's opened it up for them to think, hey, this is easy. I wanted to get it out. I know you have
that's a great out here, so. That's a great point. Think about it. If these weirdos want to go into Target, I actually did not think that way. I thought it was helicopter parenting. Get this, because my wife, when my 5-year-old was about 1.5, she walked around. She freaked out about even letting her around the side of the aisle. And she was 2. She was talking, so she was enough to talk, but she just went around, and she yelled at me because she went around the corner, and she didn't go. I mean, it was literally 1 second. Went to where I couldn't see her. I go, come back. She goes, what are you doing? I thought it was helicopter parenting. And then, not 3 days later, a little girl got taken at a Target, the same Target we were at. And what happened is the kid went right around the corner of the aisle. It was right next to an exit sign. The guy took the kid, went right out the exit, and the mom literally wasn't looking for 1 second. 1 second. I thought it was a little overboard, but after that, I have not let my kid out of my sight in a Target or any other store ever since. It's a big thing for us now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it's not helicopter parenting. And yeah, eventually, as your kids get older, they may think that. And don't think that the older kids are no longer subject to these things. I mean, people tend to stop worrying once they get their cars and so forth like that. And, that is something I can go into in a video at some time, but of my own. But they're just as at danger because they're all alone by themselves and can be easily overpowered in a lot of cases. And you're exactly right. Like with your case, that mother who was walking her kids, there were 2 in front and 2 behind her. And he was going to, right there in broad daylight, snag up the trailing kid. And we're not talking a long walk to the car. It's just a trail up an embankment. And something in her, that feeling you get as a parent, something's not right. And she spun around and saw him at a dead run for her last child. And she threw her keys at her kid, said, get in the car. And she just charged at this guy and literally scooped up her kid and put her hand out and shoved him off the trail and started yelling and screaming. And of course, he just kind of, you're crazy, and walked away. But that's how bold they are. And, the other lady I was telling you about, how she knew about it and why one person was detained was because these same three people, she was at least aware enough to take little pictures of them from Walmart to another store, a hobby type store that we all know, and then yet to Safeway. So that's how she knew that this isn't coincidences just don't exist, not like that. And I just want everybody to be out there and be especially aware. Things like this: do not let your kids walk behind you ever. Always walk in front of you so that you can have an eye on all of them. Never take your eyes off your kids for a second. If they think you're helicopter parenting as they get older, say it's love. That's what it is. Someday you will thank me and you'll see it when you have your child. It's only because I care. But it's absolutely something that everybody needs to step up right now, because I was shocked at the numbers. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of people in just our state alone.
And think about the entire country. You're talking possibly millions of these things happening. And this is something that it goes straight to DHS, Department of Homeland Security. It goes up to FBI. It goes up to that level when that's involved. And we don't hear much about it. And then it goes into secrets, right? They don't publish a lot of the stuff. So we don't realize how much of a problem it actually is. And that's why when people speak up about it and they put it down, nobody, it's almost like culturally people don't want to talk about it. Oh, that's scary. But we need to talk about it and we need to fix it. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Rip Curl. And I'm glad that you are safe, and I'm glad that you were not, you didn't have any of your stuff destroyed. Obviously, we were all worried about you as well, being, in that zone where you were evacuated, right? I mean, you were basically at the point.
And I got to tell you, I got so many prayers that it was unbelievable. And I was not alone in this. I had people from all over the world basically checking on me. That's how amazing that this community is. I don't care what anybody says. It's just not valid if it's negative, because this is the most uplifting. I have people that said, just call if you need anything and I'll make it happen. And that's amazing, because I could have lost everything. And as you'll see in the videos, which, by the way, you're more than welcome to use anything that I post, pictures and all. I told Dex that. But I tell you what, it's gone. I mean, there are people searching through ashes just for memories. And that's just sad. And it could have been me. And it's nice to know that there are people out there that if I needed some underwear and clothing, I could at least get that. And I know this, I don't have a lot, but went out and did that and purchased things for other people, because it's even twice as bad.
Well, no, thank you so much. And again, it's not something that people talk about much often. So I'm glad you brought it up. Well, thank you so much, Rip Curl. You have a wonderful night. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. Do it. You know what I mean? We need to talk about it, so when bad things happen, we don't freeze. It's unfortunate I have to explain this all the time. I don't see fear porn used for me much anymore, but only the haters that just want to be haters say it's fear porn. I don't think so. In fact, I think that I don't think people have much ground to stand on when they say that. In fact, that I just ignore, because I know that's a very specific type of troll. If anybody wanted to get on us, they would have to get on us about inaccuracies, maybe, I guess, or just opinion. Because other than that, what is there? We correct if we're wrong. We talk about real stories. We give people our sources. And no, somebody says, what is going on with your shoulder? Nothing. It's my whole face and neck. My throat is bad. I've got some issues here. So let's close this here. Looks like Nikki and Hickavoig says, thank you for all you do. Can the Foogle fam please pray for my mom and her brain cancer? I really appreciate it. Nikki, I'm really sorry to hear that. There's not a lot of stuff that people can say to make you feel better, or your mom to feel better. But I will say that we have seen people survive it. One of the YouTubers I watched survived cancer and a tumor in their brain. Accurate Beats. Great channel, great guy. I am so sorry to hear that, but we can all pray and lift your mother up. Again, if anybody can pray for Miss in Hickavoig, Mom, That would be a wonderful thing to do. Again, Rip Curl was prayed for, and boom, look at that. His house is fine. Everything is fine. Just to hit this real quick, Ring's latest security camera is a drone that flies around inside your house. I don't see the point of this. Like, I guess it could go down, charge, whatever. Why would it do this? That's what I don't get. Why would it fly around? It's like, would it be doing patrols? How big of a house do you have? Would it be better in smaller houses, or is this better for the gigantic houses? And it's only supposed to be $250. It says that Ring's latest home security camera is taking flight, literally. The new Always Home Cam is an autonomous drone that can fly around inside your home to give you a perspective of any room you want when you're not home. Okay, that is pretty flippin' cool, and I guarantee you a bunch of people are going to get this. Think about that. Oh my gosh. And it's not, who else can see these? One, hackers, and two, the companies and the governments that, get to access this stuff without permission that they say can't. Dex, are you going to be getting one?
No, I don't do Ring right now. But I just thought, that's the total helicopter parent tool, right?
Yeah, you literally. Okay, people get on my case for saying literally. That is an instance where I can literally say that. That is a helicopter parent. That's a quadcopter parent. You're talking about the idea is super cool. If you could make one of these yourself that doesn't go outside your house, I think that would be awesome. In fact, you could put a wireless camera that doesn't have any kind of app or any outside back doors and then put it onto a quadcopter. But again, what they've done here is they've made it so it goes in its own base. This thing can take off and fly around your house. It's completely safe. It can ding into walls. It's easy to fly. I mean, the drones today, you just push it's like driving a remote control car. It's incredibly easy. In fact, easier than that.
I bet it's like those robot vacuums where it actually maps out the home over time, so then it knows every place, right? And you can say,
man,
go to the baby's room. Let me see what's going on.
I wish this wasn't flipping Ring. I would have one of these if it wasn't Ring. Like, this is one of the coolest things, and it's only $250. That's actually, for a drone, that's a super incredibly cheap drone. But for a drone that also doubles as a security camera, I mean, that's actually kind of dumb on their end because you would only need one. I have four cameras inside my house, and they're not hooked up to they're hooked up to a DVR. So, but these, most people have 6, 7, 8 cameras. So this is kind of stupid on their end financially. Most people get 8 cameras to do one in each room. This one, you'll be able to fly to whatever room you want to check out and then put it back. In fact, I bet you they're going to program it to where you go, hey, check on the betterment. It will go fly around and fly to that room. Or if at that price point that it doesn't do all that, doesn't do what Dex says, kind of like what the vacuums do, it doesn't map it out. Maybe that's why it is so cheap, because you have to physically fly it around. Don't know. But will you be getting one of these? Everybody's going to say no, but be honest. Will you be getting one of these? One thing I see in our chat is because a lot of people are saying, hell no, nobody actually admits they have Ring. A lot of people have Ring. It's, it's not, rather have you be honest than, go with the flow of the peer pressure. Getting to our main event. Okay, you want to talk about creepy. You want to talk about one of the creepiest things out there. I'll tell you. It says every new Alexa feature announced at Amazon's September 24 event. And guess what? This is going to happen. It says Amazon's annual hardware event has come and gone. And with it, we've seen a slew of new Alexa features for your Echo speakers, displays, and other voice-driven devices. Alexa continues to expand its reach, connect devices installed across its user base. But the voice assistant's power isn't just in its rapidly growing scale. Hardware event, he said that Alexa is becoming more independent too. The ambient home. We've seen the Black Mirror episodes of the home taking over and the home taking control. Very creepy. It says in which Alexa is, quote, ready to respond to voice commands, but it is more predictive and proactive. Here are the biggest upgrades coming to Alexa. So, Alexa Guard Plus has rolled out and expanded Alexa Guard over the past couple of years to allow you to monitor your home while you're away. While it's activated, Guard will listen for glass breaking, smoke, and carbon monoxide alarms, and footsteps or other signs of a break-in, and will send you a mobile alert. But then the company is now offering something called Alexa Guard Plus, a subscription service that runs $5 per month, and it adds a few features on top of the standard offerings. First, Guard Plus will add a more robust sounds of activity detector, which will listen for doors opening and closing or other sounds associated with unwanted visitors. Second, Guard Plus will bring deterrence features. For instance, triggering Alexa to play a recording of dogs barking if a security camera catches someone sneaking around the back of your house. It says, finally, the Guard Plus will add a new hands-free emergency helpline run by a third-party company to connect users to emergency services like police and the fire department. Now, check this out. They are going to be they're actually going to hook this up to power locks and all of these other things. And what will happen is it says upgraded hunches. For over a year now, Amazon has been ramping up the use of hunches. Those instances where Alexa suggests an action like locking your front door as you're turning off the lights for the night. In fact, of the smart home actions that occur via Alexa, Roush says one of the 5 that are initiated by Alexa itself rather than via a voice's user command. Locking doors. Okay, so what is going on is they are turning your entire house into a digitally Wi-Fi voice-activated home that is controlled by 1, a computer, and 2, AI. And you're talking about when you cannot open it with a key, where now locks and lock companies are moving towards all digital pads. They're moving all towards Wi-Fi controlled locks. Voice activated voice where they do a voice recognition for you to get in your home. You could walk up to your house talking and it will hear you and it will open the door. Well, guess what? With this new Alexa, they're going to start connecting, and guess what? At some point, they'll be able to trap you in the push of a button from across the world if they want to, because your entire house is going to be run by the Internet of Things and you're not going to control any of it. This is the next step, and this is the future, and most people want it. I don't. This is just my opinion on it. I would not put anything digital as far as locking me in my house or locking me out of my house. That's just my opinion. What is yours? Are you going to get all this? Do you like the smart home? A lot of it is for convenience, but at some point, it's really, you got to ask yourself, who's got control of all of this in the end of the day? If things really did go down, somebody at a company can control your entire house, lock your house, own your house. Scary if you ask me. Doc Bill says Facebook was forced to shut down a pair of chatbots in the social network's artificial intelligence division after discovering they had created a secret language all their own. So I did cover that story. Can you guys register that? Facebook was forced to shut down a pair of chatbots because those 2 chatbots created their own secret language and were talking to each other. This is effing scary, people. Stop messing with AI. Let's go backwards in technology. Let's start figuring out how we can be better people. How about that? Instead of AI to make things easier for us, how about we just do those hard things and stop being a little whiner, a little complainer about how, oh my gosh, but if I'm holding things, I don't want to have to open the door turned doorknob. No coincidence we're the most overweight country. Just saying. Either way, if you want to protect yourself against cyber criminals, right now, out of any time in history, more people are at home, and so are hackers. If you want to protect yourself against that, you should have a virtual private network, especially if you don't want all of your habits being known to the entire world, if you don't want to be data logged, if you don't want somebody finding your location. These are all reasons why to have it. You can go to NordVPN and get a special savings using the special code Marfoogle. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN now. I never say now, but I wanted to say now because it was now. Probably scared some people with earphones. But to those same people, sweet nothings. Anyways, it does help the channel and it will protect you. So we have no qualms affiliating with it. Let's get to the... do we have one more caller? It looks like we have EJ. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, orbs keep seeing around the house. We've got a video here, so exciting. EJ, you are going to be live once you let yourself in.
Yeah, EJ, you're live now.
I believe I'm good.
All right, EJ, what is
How we
this? Let's pull up a link here. What is going on?
Not too much, just watching the sky as usual. I believe it was like April 9th. You had a episode about something extraordinary happening in the sky and a lot of second sun stuff. And we had seen a sun setting at about 5:15, which it's recorded as it's set at 7:15, so it's set twice. I don't have that video. It uploaded a little bit late, so we have one where we were watching on the highway where you can see sun all the way in the east, and then on the opposite side in the west, in the clouds, you can see multiple rays of sun coming through. But after watching that, I don't know, a handful of times at sunset, we'd see these orbs that were about as bright as like a mag light. And what they do is they kind of hover about a foot or two off the ground, kind of hide themselves in the sunlight so you can't really see them. But they have a brighter light that circles around them like a lighthouse. And they seem to like observe areas. I'm not exactly sure. I try to research it and I'm trying to get information from other people, but all I've found is they might be called watchers. Or if anybody else has any information, please look our YouTube up and give us whatever information you can, because we see them quite often.
Okay, and you can clearly you can clearly see that there's multiple things that you just take one look at it, you go, oh, well, that's the sun behind the clouds. But then you turn to the left, and it's
right.
Oh, there it is again. And then you turn to the middle, and you go, oh, there's a third one. What's going on here? That is weird, though, because I did think, oh, that's the sun, and maybe that's a cloud. And then I go, wait, no, that looks like the sun. That is weird.
Right. Yeah, and at the house, the way it was is it sets a little bit behind our cabin. And this sun that I have in another video, I'll call up and I'll show you guys, but it was setting like directly in front of our driveway, and it was super bright. And this is when we started seeing the little orbs branch off of it. And at first I thought it was like, I don't know, like cops or something. Like, I have no idea. I was like, what the hell's going on? And it was just bright, like mag light, like super blinding light. And they're the tiniest little orbs. I would say if you got up close to them, they'd be about basketball size. But they hover and they float in wicked weird patterns, and they'll kind of merge into each other and report back to each other. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen, but I found very few videos that document any of it. So I'm really trying to figure out what the heck it is. But they're super strange. And ever since then, that episode you had aired, I started seeing them along with these second suns, and usually around sunset or sunrise.
Well, and a lot of people have been commenting on Twitter about second suns, and it some people would laugh it off, but if there's this many people making reports of it, then people need to be heard out. I believe that everybody, every group of people should be heard out, at least, hear their stories and see their evidence. There's a lot of evidence from a lot of my colleagues here on YouTube. People, at least truly do believe that there is not only one sun, but two, or a sun simulator. Of course, that Sunlight Suckers, that video that we did with one of our callers, he had some pretty crazy evidence of that. It's really crazy stuff. What do you guys think about it? Well, thank you for calling in. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go, EJ?
No, just if anybody has any information that they can shoot me towards that, because we're trying to build our own channel right now, too, with coming up with a lot of theories. We run down a lot of rabbit holes as well, but we kind of try to get information from everywhere to get, a real good, firm grasp of information, so it's not just one-sided, to try to really solve these strange occurrences. We like to debunk them if possible, but... So, yeah, if anybody has any information, please let us know so we can kind of get a better grasp of what's going on here. But thanks, Marf. I appreciate everything you do.
Well, thank you so much, and have a good night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out. Here's Seraphina. I do believe I missed you earlier. You and Sir Budrick. Says, hi, Marf. Caucasus is the name of a mountain range in Russia from where the word Caucasian comes from. I was on it then. I mean, that's what it looked like. The root of it, right, comes from that mountain range, and that is where Caucasian came from. I mean, it's not too hard when you see the root of words. Most of them, you go back to the Latin version of it. You can kind of, you get it. Thank you, Sir Budrick. I appreciate you looking that up and actually putting that out there, and I apologize. I missed that. Archives of Turth, again, earlier on, I missed that as well, so thank you so much. And Seraphina says, peace, family. I don't know if you were leaving and you were getting out of there, but thank you. And then Z-Dub, again, with that first comment about a Muamua. Absolutely crazy. Calvin E., I missed you as well. I apologize. I have this just annoying pain in the back of my throat and all up the top. And I know I'm going to get a million people going, honey, and this and that. Trust me, I am going to take all of my previous suggestions again. I need some home remedies there. Goddess Libra, his Queen 711, love, you're on early. I appreciate you supporting us here. Adam Martin and Nikki and Hickavoy, thank you today. Jem, Johnny Doom, Kelly 2334, thank you guys. I'm going to pull you up a little bit. I know it is apocalyptic here, so we're going to unapocalypse you. Unapocalypse you. Unapocalyptus tree. I'm going to live under the unapocalyptic tree by the waters of Lake Minnetonka. A nurse arranges for a plane to fly dying father to see his son play football one last time. So this was a nurse that actually arranged this. It says, for a father and a son, a hug before the first game of football season is a special moment. For Scott and Cade Sullivan, it was the moment of a lifetime. Scott Sullivan of Somerset, Kentucky, was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer after being admitted to the hospital for abnormal lab results in early August. Sullivan was diagnosed with leptomeningeal carcinomatosis, a complication of cancer in which the disease spreads to the membranes surrounding the brain and the spinal cord. According to the National Institutes of Health, even with treatment, overall survival is approximately 2 to 4 months. The doctors gave the 50-year-old Sullivan only a few weeks to live and discharged him to hospice care. It says as he battled his illness at home, all he wanted to do was live long enough to see his son's first football game of his sophomore year at Pulaski County High School. So he asked his nurse, Jeray Humphrey of Hospice Lake of Lake Cumberland, he says, if it would be possible, Sullivan and Humphrey developed a friendship quickly. Both had children around the same age and played sports at rival schools, but she could not recommend his request. The first game of the season was an away game in Belfry, the 3.5-hour drive, and not suitable for a hospice patient. Said, quote, "I thought you knew you were talking 7 or 8 hours in the car." And I said, "I don't know how safe that would be or how realistic," said Humphrey. Says, but the nurse figured out a way to make it happen. She reached out to a nearby airport, and within days, a local dentist, Dr. Denny Brummett, offered to fly Sullivan to the game on his personal plane. It says Sullivan was overcome with emotion by the news. Words could not be put into sentences or phrases to describe how I felt at that time, he said. "I was just so happy to see my son." On September 11th, Humphrey Brummett, Sullivan's and Sullivan's girlfriend, boarded the plane for game day. Instead of sitting in the stands, they sat on a hill away from the fans as an extra precaution. So that's pretty amazing. The nurse actually organized it so they could fly him to his son's first game so he could see it before he dies. That is really cool. And honestly, if each one of you can try to do even a smaller thing than that, think about how many stories like this there would exist. Even if it's just once a week, doing something nice that is not for people, that you don't post on social media, that you're not just doing to get people to say, "Oh, he's such a good person." That's what most people are doing. If they are good people, they're mostly doing it to post a picture of it so they can post a selfie of them doing it. My volunteer work, I never even talk about on the show. You won't know about it. That's how it should be. You shouldn't be bragging about your good deeds. Otherwise, it takes away any meaning. So, anyways, if we all did something like that, it would help. If you guys, one thing about earthing and grounding is it's something you have to know about. So before even purchasing something like this on my recommendation, I'd highly recommend going and watching the movies. But you can ask a million Foogle family members why they ground and what it has done for them. They will tell you themselves. In fact, you can just ask somebody in chat if you would like why they do grounding. But I highly recommend watching the movie. Don't purchase one unless you know what you're actually getting. Because once I started it, I really never stopped. And now I try to do it when I'm not using the products. I'm out in the grass with my feet, no shoes on. It's actually really helped me a lot. Still have problems, and I think I really wrecked myself in my early 20s. But man, oh man, it has helped my digestive and my sleep. Those are the two big things earthing or grounding has done to help me. You can go to marfooglenews.com/earthing to look at any of the earthing brand products, or you can go to marfooglenews.com/GT to watch the entire full-length film. I don't know if you guys remember, but we had Mariel Hemingway on the show, Academy Award-winning actress, and then Amy Smart, Deepak Chopra, all sorts of folks are in that movie. All right. Let's see here. Dex, do you have any last wishes? Do you have any dying wishes that you would like us to break constitutions for, or anything? Just asking.
No, I'm good at the moment, but I'm gonna try to rename this last segment. Can we choke up Adam?
Yeah, yesterday's one.
That's the new challenge.
No, yesterday's one was actually, that one got me.
Oh yeah, I noticed.
That's pretty funny. Well, thank you, Dex. You are much appreciated, and
great show, brother.
Again, thank you for not saying, "Oh, well, this is my dying wish," and now we got to change everything for it. So thank you, I appreciate that. Because that's what matters in today's day and age. Thank you. Love you, brother. Have a good night. Now it is officially time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. Where's the button? Thank you, Chekawa. I appreciate you. Jelly J, Johnny Doom, KCH3, thank you so much. Serenity, PA, Bluntstruck. We've got Stormy7572 says, thanks Adam, Dex Mods, for all you do. Smart Kid 14, spread love, not hate. Tower Bear, driving in a Ninjagini. Oh yeah, let's hit it up. Let's get it up and stuff. Got the WP prepared mind. Gotta go back now all the time. Phil, Billy X and Johnny Doom. Calm down, it's just me. Gotta bring that jam and add. Gotta do that medicine, grimace and go. Got the Checoa and the Cali 2334 and the Gregor 2. Archives the Tarth and everybody do the stewie. Ooh. You've got to wonder where we go with the D-Light Militia 84 with the Claudette and the Missy I. I'm gonna bring it back like Lady Melsi. And a piece in the pot. Woodsy Woo and everybody on. Laura Griffith, yes, I love a Griffith just like I did Andy Griffith. With the Sandra in Texas, you gotta get this nexus. Is going back now, they vex us. And the truth of the culture matrix is 45. Adore the M13, regular mom prepping in the Josh Mo does the Dixie dough. Hey Maui, racing, relitter, and edgy, well, and are you here? Going back now, nobody caring. His queen on the 611. Do it like that nuclear war. Going back now, we want some more. Cute Chris and everybody more. Atta, da 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 da.